be in the academy. I'm good. I'm good. I'm staying in Bridgeport, which was a good thing. It was a blessing to me because I'm able to do more with youth programs than I would with the state police. So with that said, I did 6 months in the academy. From 6 months into the academy, I went to my FTO training, which is field training, which you're with a seasoned officer, a veteran officer, and teaches you the ropes. Classroom is all great and fine, whatnot, but having hands-on out in the street is better than sitting in the classroom and then the instructor telling you how to act and what to do. So after I was done with the FTO, I went directly into housing. So I worked in PT, I worked in Marina, I worked in the Greens, I worked in the Terrace. So I worked in all of the housing projects. You guys were even born then. So I know some of your parents because we hung out. You know, we played basketball and whatever. I'm not a good basketball player. I can dance, I can sing, but I'm not a good basketball player. I can't even get the stupid thing in the hoop. So with that said, I was getting a little tired of working in housing. I wanted to do more. I wanted to expand. So then I went into a position was open for narcotics and vice. I decided to go into narcotics and vice. I worked as an undercover for a bit. I guess I did a good job with that. So the state police asked me to join them. And that's exactly what I did. I worked for the state police for a little bit as an undercover also. And my father always said to me, do me a favor. If anyone from narcotics and vice ever approaches you to come and do undercover work, don't do it. Well, me being an adrenaline junkie, I decided to just go ahead and not say anything to Dad. So I did really well with both city narcotics and state narcotics. And then my dad and I went to a retirement party. And at that retirement party, my bosses were like, oh yeah, your daughter, she's great. And he's like, what do you mean she's great? Oh yeah, she's great. She's, great undercover. And they're like, what do you mean? And I'm going, no, don't say nothing. At that point, my father found out. I'm like, all right, cat's out of the bag. I was an undercover officer for a while. Went back to patrol, went back to housing. Did that for a little bit again. And then a position opened up as it was called the neighborhood. We changed names so many times. Neighborhood enforcement team. I was one of the first in that team. It was a strategic team for the city and for the department. So when when somebody called the mayor about, let's say, drugs or prostitution or guns or whatever, they would call us and we would focus on that area for about a month. And then so we would handle that for the mayor, for the chief. Then I decided I wanted to be the first. And then here we go with the first.
Okay.
The position that opened up, they were putting together their first ESU unit, which is the Emergency Services Unit, which is a SWAT team. I decided that I wanted to try out. And I tried out. I beat out a couple captains, a couple lieutenants that were all guys. I was the only female. Until this day, I still hold that rank as being the only female city and state SWAT operator. And I enjoy it. And those are fun times. That's a lot different from regular patrol training. This is fun. You get to work with a bunch of people throughout the state, and you get to work with big, high-powered guns, and I like to drive the armored car. That's fun, except not in ice, because it doesn't stop very well. I am in charge of the Bridgeport Police Honor Guard Unit. I don't know if you guys have been at any of our parades. Please start off with the flags. Well, that's Honor Guard. It's a very prestigious unit. I run it. I have 12 other guys with me that are in the unit. Again, I'm the only female for that unit. We used to have a couple other ladies, but they decided to venture off to other things. I'm still with them. I've been with them for 14 years. 15 years. And we go to Washington, D.C. every year. We participate in the Police Week, National Police Week in Washington. So we do that. And we stand at caskets at law enforcement funerals, whether it's for retirees or those that killed in the line of duty. So we have traveled around pretty much the U.S. attending all these funerals. Not only do I do that for the department, but I also sing. So I do a lot of traveling.
Oh, yeah?
I sing at a lot of these funerals or special events. I am the city's national anthem singer, so I sing for the city. Excuse me. And then that's how I ended up meeting my other half. You guys know nothing about this group because you guys are way too young. But my other half is Walt Anderson. He's on a bunch of like Spotify and all that. But he's the lead singer for Kool and the Gang. He took over for JT Taylor. You guys are going, who's Kool and the Gang? 70s band from back in the day. So he took over for JT when he decided to retire. He's been with them for 6-7 years now. So I travel with the gang and him.
Oh, wow.
Which is fun. Except when you're only in these really nice parts
Right.
of the country and you're only there for 3 days and you gotta go. So we've done stuff together. Let's see. What else? I'm also part of a traveling gospel choir, so I travel a lot too with that. And the rest of the stuff is more youth oriented. So my office is over on Sylvan Avenue, and that's community services. That's
Okay.
where I'm detailed at it.
All right.
So there, everyone calls us for things, whether it's for school presentations like this, camp presentations, youth organizations, camps. We do food drives, toy drives, coat drives, you name it, we do. In fact, September 19th, remember this, guys.
Okay.
We're going to be at the park behind Tisdale School.
Okay.
I think it's Johnson Oak Park. From 10 to 3. Free haircuts, free COVID testing.
Okay.
Census, that's more for your parents or your guardians. And hot dogs and hamburgers. So everything is free.
September 19th?
September 19th.
Okay.
From
Everybody
10 to
remember that.
3.
I would like for everybody to go. We go together.
Yeah, and we're gonna have coats too, brand spanking
Okay.
coats with hats and gloves. So come on down. First come, first serve, right? And remember, wear your mask.
Yes, yes.
But that's pretty much everything that I do. I'm also a wish creator for Make-A-Wish. You guys know anything about Make-A-Wish? Anyone ever heard? Yes. Make-A-Wish is we deal with terminally ill kids that want to
Yes.
go somewhere. Let's say they want to go to Disney, or they want a pool, or they want a special bedroom, or they want to meet a celebrity or a sports star. We make it happen. But you gotta be sick. I already saw your eyes over the light. I know. So yeah, I do that.
Yes.
And I'm trying to think. I'm actually just looking at my board right now. What else? And that's pretty much it. But the rest of the stuff I do, like I said, is all youth related. I'm the DARE instructor and the DARE coordinator for the city. So I was teaching before COVID. I was teaching at Tisdale. I was about to start over at Skane's school, but then that's when everything was shut down and we couldn't do anything. I'm hoping to bring it back. Oh. All right. Questions. I know you guys got questions. You guys can ask me, and to be honest with you, you guys can ask me whatever you want. No judgment. I will not get mad. Whatever. I'll try my best to answer your questions for you. I'm here to answer questions, okay? Anything you want to ask. You had a question.
Are guns heavy?
I'm sorry?
Are guns heavy?
It depends. This is all metal, so
Good.
yes, it's heavy.
That's a good question.
I have ones that are plastic, that are not so heavy. But these are heavy. The M4s are heavy. When I have my flag jacket on, which
Yes.
it's an additional 60 pounds to 70. And that's just mine. Mine is cut to me. So the guys have four pouches for all their M4 rounds and their 45 radio and all that. Mine is cut to half that, so it's like two, and then the rest are in my pockets. But yeah, it depends.
Right.
Any other question? Somebody had a question.
Go ahead, Katie. They can't.
Why did I become a police officer? That was your question? My dad, I wanted to follow in his footsteps. He wanted me to be an attorney. I took law for a little bit, didn't care for it so much. When I went to the academy, I had no choice but to learn Connecticut law. And it was like cramming 8 years of law down your throat in 6 months. So, no choice. and then the other thing is that I like working with kids and I like working with people. You have to have a heart for that. You have to have a heart to work with people and kids, because if you can't work with people and you can't work with kids, no
bro.
point of being
I didn't even know that was you
and
over there. I was wondering what it was. She should be done in a little bit.
Especially to my recruits when they come in, I tell them, if you don't have the heart for this,
I might need you next week because there's a couple cats that like music.
Do me a favor.
So I'm gonna holler at you.
I always tell them that because I don't have time for it. And I'm an instructor as well.
Okay.
I am a instructor, not in this academy anymore. I used to be. I taught ground fighting. I taught defensive tactics, hand-to-hand combat, short people combat. You name it, I've taught it. Handcuff and baton, OC spray. I teach all that. But now I teach at the State Police Academy, so I teach up there to those recruits. Again, I always tell them, you have to have the heart to become a police officer, because it's important that you serve your community or your state. You know, and if you're going to be nasty, there's no point. You got to go, because it's a long 25 years on the job to be miserable. Yes.
What kind of police officer are you?
I'm a regular police officer, but I work out of community services. 19 years. It's time for me to.
I thought you were one of the police officers that that work on computers. Like doing that. Daily, like you just go walk in the police academy or something, or the police station, and they just work on computers. That's what
I will blow up a computer.
Okay.
Because I'm not good with computers. I have to call my IT person at least once a week, telling him, what did I just do? I'm not good with computers. My 8-year-old son, he's the one that walks me through a lot of the computer stuff. I'm not good with it at all. So no, I deal more with the hands-on stuff, the planning for the city, events for the city, as well as the youth department. So we or an iPad for
Any other questions?
Huh? Sure. Any other questions? I know you guys got questions. Ask me anything.
They're a little shy, Officer Sandy. They be acting shy. No questions? Especially for the females.
Jay, you got any questions?
All right, what about my ladies?
Yeah, exactly. We got two.
I've taken it out. Yeah, I've never shot it. And one thing that I want to make very, very clear here, when we put on this uniform,
yes.
All right, when this uniform goes on, we kiss our families goodbye, but we don't know if we're coming home. And at the same time, we don't know if we have to pull that trigger.
Right.
And the thing is, it doesn't matter whether, you know, if let's say something happens to that point, and it stays in somebody's head. It's not that easy. And the reason why I say that, I am also a state peer support counselor for law enforcement, or for first responders as well as veterans. So there's a lot of PTSD, right? And there's a lot of things that they talk about that reoccurs. You close your eyes and that's all you see. I never personally had to take it out and use it. Have I taken it out? Absolutely. Did it stop whatever? Absolutely. But there is not a day that I leave my house and then I say, I want to go shoot somebody. That's not the case. One, there's too much paperwork. Two, I don't think I can live with myself harming somebody else. And that's just me. And I'm sure that's with all the other police officers that I work with. But that was a good question. I like it. Any other questions? I know you got one.
Yeah, you got one?
When did you first start? When did I first start?
Yeah.
19 years ago. June 24th, 2001.
Oh, yeah? Oh.
I'm only doing it like before.
That's why she said she's been doing it longer than y'all been born.
Yeah. I do some security work as well, private security work for a very top high person that whenever he needs assistance, I go out to DC. He used to be a mayor in New York, and but that's whenever needed. So, but yeah, that's very infrequent. Any other questions?
Any other
You
one?
guys got questions? You guys
Maybe
can
I
even
can-
talk about what's going on today. Seriously. Like I said, no judgment. I won't get mad. Whatever. Speak your piece. You know, this is the time.
Rebirth. Let's eat.
Absolutely. I think first of all, everyone's lives matter, especially Black Lives Matter. There's a lot of things that bother me, you know, especially, you know, being with my other half and stuff, and then they look at us like, I'm like, what? I don't understand what the problem is. We should all be equal. End of story, we should all be equal. Everyone should have equal pay. Everyone should get the same opportunity I was afforded, or, you know, the white person next to us.
Right.
Right?
Make sure
Everyone.
you
Even
raise
college.
your hand.
College is huge.
Yes.
Right? You want to get the same opportunity that everyone else, right?
Why do some cops always think that they're better than others?
I like that question. So remember, a lot of the cops that are around
Right.
this is a culture shock. And what I mean by a culture shock, you know, these kids, they were, you know, grew up in suburbia, whatever, and I'm not trying to knock anybody.
Right.
By any stretch of the imagination. Sometimes they figure once they put that badge on, I'm great. No, you're not. You're like everybody else. You just have a badge. You have a gun. Yeah, okay, you have a little bit of power, but that's it. Doesn't make you any better than the person next to you.